Have you ever wondered why life suddenly feels heavier than ever before? Why the doors you expected to open keep closing? Why your plans keep falling apart? And why your heart feels exhausted despite your constant prayers? Before you believe that Allah has forgotten you, listen carefully. What if these struggles are not punishment but preparation? What if Allah is removing what no longer belongs in your life to make room for something far greater? Stay with me until the end, because this message may completely change the way you see your hardships and help you recognize that Allah could be leading you toward the life you've been praying for. My beloved brothers and sisters, there are seasons in life that leave us asking difficult questions. You wake up one morning and nothing feels the same anymore. The things that once brought you happiness no longer satisfy your heart. The plans you carefully made begin to fall apart. Doors you were certain would open remain firmly closed. Relationships change, opportunities disappear, and you find yourself carrying a weight you cannot even explain. It is during moments like these that Shaitan whispers the most dangerous lie. Allah has abandoned you. But I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself another question. What if the heaviness you are feeling is not a sign that Allah is moving away from you? What if it is actually a sign that He is moving you towards something greater? Think about the seed that is buried beneath the earth. If that seed could speak, it might describe its situation as darkness, pressure, and loneliness. It is surrounded by soil, hidden from the world, unable to see what lies above. Yet the one who created that seed knows exactly what is happening. The pressure is not destroying it, the pressure is preparing it to grow. Without that uncomfortable process, it would never become the strong tree it was created to be. Our lives are often no different. Allah sometimes allows us to experience seasons that stretch us beyond our comfort. Not because He wants to break us, but because He wants to build us. We naturally love comfort. We enjoy certainty. We like knowing what tomorrow will bring. But growth rarely happens in comfort. The strongest faith is often born in the middle of uncertainty. Many of us pray for greater blessings, stronger faith, more wisdom, and a life that pleases Allah. Yet we forget that these gifts require preparation. Allah does not simply change your destination. He changes you so that you are ready for the destination He has written for you. Sometimes your character needs refining. Sometimes your patience needs strengthening. Sometimes your dependence on people needs to be replaced with complete dependence upon Allah alone. That process can feel heavy. It can feel confusing. You may even wonder why everyone else's life seems to be moving forward while yours feels delayed. But remember this, comparison is one of the quickest ways to lose sight of Allah's wisdom. You are looking at someone else's chapter, while Allah is writing your entire story. Your journey has never been meant to look like anyone else's. There are moments when Allah removes the very things you thought you needed, because He knows they would prevent you from becoming the person you were created to be. Sometimes He allows disappointment, so your heart no longer becomes attached to this temporary world. Sometimes He allows delays, because your blessing is still being prepared. And sometimes He allows your plans to collapse, because His plan is infinitely better than anything you could have imagined for yourself. When life becomes heavy, resist the temptation to run away from Allah. Run towards Him instead. Increase your prayer. Speak to Him in your quiet moments. Cry to Him if you need to. Open your heart before the one who already knows every fear hidden inside it. The burden becomes lighter not because your circumstances change immediately, but because your heart begins to realize that it is being carried by the most merciful. Never think that your struggle is meaningless. Every difficult day is teaching you something. Every unanswered question is drawing you closer to wisdom. Every tear that falls for the sake of Allah is seen by Him. Nothing is wasted. Not your patience, not your sincerity, not your silent prayers, and certainly not your pain. So if life feels unusually heavy today, do not rush to conclude that something is wrong. Perhaps Allah is clearing the path for a new beginning that you cannot yet see. Perhaps He is shaping your heart before placing you where you have been praying to be. Trust the process even when you cannot understand it, because the one who controls your future also knows exactly what your heart needs today. The weight you carry today may be the very thing that prepares you for the life Allah has already prepared for you. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the hardest lessons to accept is that before Allah gives you something better, He may first remove something you love. This is where many hearts struggle. We naturally hold on to what is familiar. We become attached to people, careers, dreams, routines, and plans. We begin to believe that our happiness depends on these things remaining exactly as they are. But Allah, in His infinite wisdom, sees what we cannot see. He knows what is hidden behind every door, what lies ahead in every path, and what every relationship, opportunity, or decision will eventually bring into our lives. When something is taken away, our first reaction is often pain. We ask, why me? Why now? I worked so hard for this. I prayed for this. I thought this was exactly what I needed. Those questions are natural, but do not allow them to become doubts about the mercy of Allah. Remember, the one who gave you that blessing in the first place is also the one who knows when it is time for something different. Think back over your own life. How many times have you looked back and realized that something you once cried over eventually turned out to be one of Allah's greatest protections? Perhaps a door you desperately wanted to open remained closed. At the time, it felt like disappointment. Months or years later, you discovered that had it opened, it would have led you toward regret instead of peace. Perhaps a friendship ended, a job slipped away, or a plan collapsed completely. In those painful moments, you could not understand what Allah was doing. But with time, you began to see that His wisdom was protecting you from things your eyes could never have recognized. This is why we must never judge Allah's mercy by our immediate emotions. Our feelings are limited by the present moment, while Allah's knowledge extends beyond this world and into the hereafter. We see one page of the story. Allah sees the entire book. We see today's loss. Allah sees tomorrow's blessing. We see the closed door. Allah sees the danger behind it and the better opportunity waiting elsewhere. Sometimes Allah removes people from your life because they are distracting you from Him. Sometimes He removes opportunities because they would have pulled you away from your purpose. Sometimes He delays success because your character is still being shaped. Imagine receiving a blessing before your heart was ready to carry it. That blessing might become a test instead of a mercy. Allah knows exactly when to give, exactly when to withhold, and exactly when to redirect your path. This is why trust is so important. Trust does not mean you will never feel sadness. Even the prophets experienced grief, shed tears. They felt pain, but they never allowed their pain to make them lose confidence in Allah's wisdom. They understood that behind every decree of Allah is perfect justice, perfect mercy, and perfect knowledge. So if something has recently been taken from your life, do not immediately conclude that your life is falling apart. It may actually be coming together in ways you cannot yet see. Allah is not taking from you because He enjoys seeing you suffer. He is the most merciful. If He removes something, it is because He knows that holding on to it would ultimately harm you or prevent you from reaching something greater. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Begin asking, what is Allah preparing me for? That simple change in perspective can transform your heart. It replaces bitterness with hope, fear with trust, and confusion with peace. You begin to understand that every removal has a purpose, every delay has wisdom, and every redirection is leading you exactly where Allah wants you to be. So hold tightly to your faith, not to the things of this world. People change, circumstances change, and plans change. But Allah's mercy never changes. If He has closed one chapter, believe with all your heart that He is already writing a better one. Walk forward with patience, gratitude, and complete reliance upon Him. Sometimes the greatest blessing in your life begins with the hardest goodbye, because Allah only removes what stands between you and something better. My beloved brothers and sisters, once you begin to understand that Allah sometimes removes before He replaces, another lesson becomes essential for every believer to embrace. the wisdom of His timing. We live in a world that teaches us to expect everything immediately. We want instant answers, instant success, instant relief, and instant results. When something takes longer than we expected, frustration begins to grow. We wonder why our prayers have not yet been answered. We ask ourselves why others seem to be moving ahead while we remain in the same place. But remember this, Allah is never late, He is never early. He is always perfectly on time. Think about how often we ask Allah for something because we believe it will make us happy. We pray for a certain opportunity, a particular job, a spouse, financial ease, healing, or a dream we have carried for years. There is nothing wrong with asking. In fact, Allah loves when His servants turn to Him with sincere hearts. But sometimes we become so attached to our preferred timing that we forget to trust His perfect wisdom. Imagine giving a young child the keys to a car. The child may cry because you refuse, thinking you are being unfair. But your refusal is not a lack of love. It is an act of protection. You know what the child cannot yet understand. In a similar way, Allah knows what we cannot see. We may believe we are ready for something, while Allah knows that if He gave it to us today, it might overwhelm us, distract us, or even become a source of hardship rather than happiness. There are blessings that require preparation. Sometimes Allah is preparing the blessing itself. At other times, He is preparing you. Perhaps your character is still being refined. Perhaps your patience is being strengthened. Perhaps your faith is growing through the waiting. If Allah were to place you in your next chapter before your heart was ready, you might lose the very blessing you had been praying for. This is why waiting should never be confused with being forgotten. Delay is not abandonment. Silence is not rejection. Every day that passes under the decree of Allah is filled with purpose, even when that purpose is hidden from your eyes. While you are waiting, Allah is working in ways you cannot imagine. He is arranging people, opening unseen doors, protecting you from unseen harm, and preparing circumstances that will one day make perfect sense. Look back at your own life. There were probably moments when you were disappointed because something did not happen when you wanted it to. At the time, you could not understand why. But later, when the right moment arrived, you realized that had your original plan worked out, you would have missed something far better. That realization should strengthen your confidence in every delay you face today. The waiting itself also changes us. It teaches humility because we recognize that we are not in control. It teaches perseverance because we continue making dua even when the answer has not yet arrived. It teaches gratitude because we begin appreciating what we already have instead of focusing only on what we still lack. Most importantly, it teaches us to rely on Allah rather than on our own expectations. Do not spend your waiting season complaining. Fill it with worship. Continue praying, continue striving, continue improving yourself, continue serving others, and continue trusting Allah. Every act of obedience during a difficult season is building a stronger relationship between you and your Creator. Even if the blessing has not yet arrived, your heart is already becoming richer through your connection with Him. Never compare your timeline with someone else's. Allah writes every story differently. Someone may receive their blessing earlier because their test is different from yours. Your delay is not proof that you are less loved. It may simply mean that Allah has written something unique for your journey. The one who created time knows exactly when every blessing should arrive, and not a single moment before or after. So if your heart is growing tired of waiting, remind yourself that Allah has never made a mistake with your life. What is meant for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never written for you. Continue walking forward with patience, because every step taken in trust brings you closer to the moment Allah has already prepared. When Allah makes you wait, it is never because He has forgotten you. It is because He is preparing something that is worth the wait. My beloved brothers and sisters, after understanding that Allah's timing is always perfect, there comes another step that many of us find even more difficult. It is the step of letting go. We all want a new chapter in our lives, but sometimes we try to carry the weight of the old chapter into the new one. We ask Allah to change our lives while refusing to release the things that are holding us back. We pray for peace while holding on to resentment. We ask for new opportunities while refusing to let go of past disappointments. We ask Allah to guide us forward, yet our hearts remain chained to what is behind us. One of the greatest acts of faith is learning to release what Allah is removing. This does not mean you stop caring or that you pretend the pain never existed. It means you trust that if Allah, in His wisdom, has closed the door, then standing outside that closed door forever will not open it again. Sometimes we spend months, even years, asking why something ended, instead of asking Allah to guide us toward what comes next. Think about how much energy is lost replaying old conversations, old mistakes, old regrets, and old failures. We keep asking ourselves, what if I had done this differently? What if I had made another decision? What if I had one more chance? While reflection can help us grow, living in constant regret only steals the blessing of today. Shaitan loves to keep people trapped in the past because a heart that is constantly looking backward struggles to move forward. Remember that sincere repentance wipes away sins, and sincere trust allows you to leave your past where it belongs. Allah does not want you to remain imprisoned by your mistakes. He wants you to learn from them. Seek His forgiveness, improve yourself, and continue your journey. Every prophet faced moments of hardship, yet none of them remained stuck in despair. They turned back to Allah, accepted His decree, and continued walking with hope. Sometimes what you need to let go of is not a mistake, but an unhealthy attachment. We can become attached to people so deeply that we begin to depend on them more than we depend on Allah. We can become attached to a dream, a career, or a particular outcome until we convince ourselves that happiness is impossible without it. But our hearts were never created to find ultimate security in the temporary things of this world. They were created to find peace through their connection with Allah. When Allah removes something from your hands, do not let your faith fall with it. Instead, tighten your grip on your relationship with Him. The one who provided yesterday is fully capable of providing tomorrow. The one who opened doors before can open doors again. But the one who healed your heart in the past can heal it once more. Your source of hope has never been the blessing itself. It has always been the one who gave the blessing. This is also the time to let go of fear. Fear often whispers that if you release what is familiar, nothing better will ever come. But faith answers differently. Faith says that whatever Allah chooses is better than whatever I choose for myself. Faith says that I may not understand today, but one day I will see His wisdom. Faith says that my future is safer in the hands of Allah than in my own plans. Do not be afraid of a new beginning. Every sunrise reminds us that Allah gives the world another chance every single day. In the same way, He gives His servants fresh opportunities to grow, to change, and to come closer to Him. Your past does not have to define your future. Your previous disappointments do not have to determine your next chapter. If Allah has opened the door to a new beginning, walk through it with gratitude rather than hesitation. So release the burdens that Allah never asked you to carry forever. Let go of bitterness, regret, unhealthy attachments, and the fear of the unknown. Fill those empty spaces with trust, gratitude, sincere worship, and hope. As you do, you will discover that the journey ahead feels lighter. Not because life has become easier, but because your heart has become stronger through its reliance upon Allah. When you finally let go of what Allah is taking away, you make room for the beautiful future He has already prepared for you. My beloved brothers and sisters, when Allah begins leading you toward a new chapter in your life, do not expect the journey to be free of challenges. In fact, it is often during the hardest moments that your faith grows the most. We all enjoy days of ease. It is easy to smile when everything is going according to plan. It is easy to be grateful when our prayers seem to be answered immediately. But the true strength of faith is not measured during comfort. It is revealed during difficulty. The heart that continues to remember Allah through pain is a heart that is becoming stronger than it has ever been before. Think about the strongest tree in a forest. It did not become strong because it was protected from every storm. It became strong because it survived the wind, the rain, the heat, and the changing seasons. Every storm forced its roots to grow deeper into the ground. In the same way, every trial you face has the potential to deepen your connection with Allah. The difficulty itself is not the goal. The closeness to Allah that comes through that difficulty is the real treasure. Sometimes we ask Allah to increase our faith, but we forget that faith grows through tests. We ask for patience, yet patience cannot exist without something that requires us to be patient. We ask for strength, but strength is developed by carrying burdens we never thought we could bear. Allah knows exactly how to nurture your heart. Every challenge He allows into your life has been measured with perfect wisdom. He knows your limits better than you know them yourself. Do not think that your tears are a sign of weakness. Even the righteous experienced moments of deep emotion. They felt sadness, disappointment, and uncertainty. The difference was that they carried those emotions back to Allah, instead of allowing those emotions to pull them away from Him. They understood that every hardship was another opportunity to strengthen their relationship with their Creator. Perhaps today you are facing a problem that no one else knows about. You smile in front of people, but your heart is exhausted. You continue fulfilling your responsibilities while silently asking Allah for relief. Never believe that these hidden struggles are unnoticed. Allah sees every sacrifice you make. He knows every sleepless night, every sincere prayer, every tear that falls when no one else is around. Nothing escapes His knowledge, and nothing done sincerely for His sake is ever wasted. This is why you must continue your acts of worship, even when your emotions tell you otherwise. Continue praying, even when you feel tired. Continue making dua, even when the answer seems delayed. Continue remembering Allah, even when your heart feels heavy. Continue seeking forgiveness, even when you feel unworthy. Your consistency during hardship is one of the greatest signs of sincere faith. Worship is not reserved only for days of happiness. Sometimes the most beloved acts of worship are those performed when your heart is struggling, but still refuses to let go of Allah. Be careful not to judge your spiritual journey by your feelings alone. There will be days when your faith feels strong, and days when you struggle. What matters is that you keep returning to Allah. A believer may stumble, but a believer never gives up. Every time you return to your Lord with sincerity, He welcomes you with mercy that is greater than your imagination. And remember, the transformation Allah is bringing into your life is not only about changing your circumstances. It is about changing your heart. A new job, a new home, financial ease, or a new opportunity may all be wonderful blessings. But the greatest blessing is becoming a person whose trust in Allah cannot be shaken by changing circumstances. When your heart learns to rely upon Him completely, you carry a peace that the world can never give and can never take away. So if your journey feels difficult today, do not lose hope. The battle you are fighting may be the very place where Allah is building the strongest version of your faith. One day you will look back and realize that the moments you wanted to escape were the very moments that brought you closest to your Creator. The hardest battles often produce the strongest believers, because every step taken toward Allah is never taken in vain. My beloved brothers and sisters, after reflecting on every step of this journey, we arrive at the most important lesson of all. Allah is not merely taking you through a difficult season. He is leading you toward a new life. Every challenge, every delay, every closed door, every unanswered question, and every painful goodbye has been part of a process that only He could design. When you begin to see your life through this lens, fear starts to lose its power. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and instead begin asking, "What is Allah preparing me for?" The future is something that worries almost every human being. We wonder what tomorrow will bring. Will things get better? Will my prayers be answered? Will my family find peace? Will I ever recover from this loss? These questions are natural because we cannot see what lies ahead. But remember, the believer is not asked to know the future. The believer is asked to trust the one who already knows it. Think about how many times Allah has already brought you through situations that once seemed impossible. There were moments when you believed you would never recover. There were nights when you thought your heart would never heal. There were problems that looked far bigger than your ability to solve them. Yet here you are today. You survived things you once thought would destroy you. Was it your strength alone? No. It was the mercy of Allah carrying you through every single step, even when you could not see His hand at work. That is why you should never fear the next chapter of your life. The same Allah who protected you yesterday is with you today, and He will be with you tomorrow. His mercy has not changed. His wisdom has not changed. His promises have not changed. If He has brought you this far, do you really think He will abandon you now? Never allow Shaitan to convince you that your future is filled only with darkness. Shaitan wants you to lose hope because a hopeless heart stops striving. But the believer continues walking, even when the road ahead is unclear. Because the believer knows that Allah never guides a servant toward goodness, only to leave them halfway. As you move into this new chapter, make a sincere intention to strengthen your relationship with Allah more than ever before. Let your prayers become more consistent. Let your remembrance of Allah become part of your daily life. Make time to reflect upon the Quran, not as a routine, but as guidance for your heart. Increase your gratitude, even for the small blessings that are easy to overlook. Gratitude changes the way you see your life. Instead of focusing on what you have lost, you begin noticing everything Allah continues to provide. Do not allow your identity to be defined by your past failures or disappointments. Allah does not measure you by the chapters that have already ended. He gives you opportunities to write a better chapter every single day. As long as you are alive, hope remains alive. As long as you can raise your hands in dua, the door of mercy remains open. As long as your heart can turn back to Allah, your story is not finished. And remember, your new life is not only about receiving new blessings. The greatest transformation is becoming a person who trusts Allah regardless of circumstances. If wealth comes, you remain grateful. If hardship comes, you remain patient. If success comes, you remain humble. If delay comes, you continue making dua. This is the heart that has truly learned to rely upon Allah. Such a heart cannot be broken by the changing conditions of this world, because its peace comes from the one who never changes. When you leave here today, leave behind the burden of excessive worry. Leave behind the fear that has been keeping you from moving forward. Leave behind the belief that your best days are behind you. Walk into your future with hope, with sincerity, and with complete trust that Allah is writing a story far more beautiful than anything you could ever write for yourself. Perhaps the road ahead will still have challenges. Perhaps there will still be moments when you do not understand His plan. But never confuse temporary uncertainty with permanent defeat. Keep walking, keep praying, keep trusting, keep remembering Allah. One day, by His permission, you will look back and realize that every difficult step was leading you exactly where you needed to be. Walk into your new life with complete trust in Allah, because the one who is guiding your path never makes a mistake. My beloved brothers and sisters, if this message has touched your heart, don't let it end here. Carry these reminders with you into your daily life, whenever life feels heavy. Remember that Allah is preparing you, guiding you, and never abandoning you. Keep praying, keep trusting, and never lose hope in His perfect plan. Your struggles are temporary, but His mercy is everlasting. If you found comfort in this reminder, share it with someone who may need hope today. May Allah strengthen your faith, ease your worries, forgive your sins, and fill your heart with peace. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and may Allah bless you abundantly. Ameen.